What did I tell you? 10 o'clock comes around. We're back for game number 2. We have the Journeymen versus the Poets. This is a minor league game now. Here's the bigger boys. We got to watch the little boys fight it out in game number in the first set. The set number 2, we have the bigger dogs coming through. I'm Hunter Big Malls. With me this time, it's not Uchi, even though he did an amazing job. We have Mr. Wolfman Sam.
How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, not too bad. Second cast of the day for me. My throat is killing me, but here I am. How about you?
I'm living the dream.
Mm-hmm. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? We get to play the amazing game of Smite on a Friday night. So, some bands we got coming in here already, kicking off strong. We got Kepri band. We got Kabrakan band. Some pretty basic normal meta stuff. What's some more bands you would maybe like to see here, Wolfman Sam, for both teams?
I say you just take out all of those like top tier picks right now. So like the Emojis, the Cupids, just every Guan Yu, even the picks that everyone's been gravitating towards, and try to make people dig deep into their god pool so you can get a feel of the play style of the other team, especially on your first game against them.
Then talking about some meta picks, Yu Huang gone, and then Thor gone on the other side. As I said in that first set, Thor, once that 2 came around, people are starting to see a nice surge into Thor. I don't really know if it has to do with the 2 or people are starting to realize, hey, we can one-shot people still, even without the 2 buff. Though Hades now getting banned and Guan Yu. So a lot of those healers getting banned that you do not like to see into the solo lane. But, I mean, Yamoja's open here. This has to be the first pick, right?
I would think so, with just how strong Fablest is right now, especially on healer comps. I don't see a reason not to pick it up because with Umoja, you can have 10 of those flowers sitting on the ground in 2 casts. Like, it's kind of nutty.
Oh yeah, Yamoja with the Fabless, very OP, very strong right now. A lot of shielding coming out of her in that too. But I mean, Daji is still open though, which is a really good matchup into that Yamoja. So the foremen taking their time here. They have to be very careful because if they decide to lock in that Yamoja, they could very easily see on the other side a Daji coming through.
This is true. You kind of see the classic matchup of like zoning comps versus pick comps, especially right now. With characters like Daji and Naja being so prevalent than like Yamoja, so you like to get those gods that can create space, and then you have those gods that will pick you if you like are even a little bit out of position.
Yeah, and a lot with this meta right now, it's just kind of the same. It's one of 2 things. As you said, you're those high, bursty, damagey assassins like this Daji that insta got locked in. It's like I'm a genie. I called it, man. And then you have more of these like Yamojis and these healers that sustain, give a lot of shielding, make these fights just hell for people to dive on you, right? But the Poets do have 2 picks here on this side. I mean, Lancelot's open, Naja is open. I mean, you could see a little bit of Naja flex to the solo lane. I mean, do you want them to go another assassin here?
I think assassin items are so strong right now. They're probably the best items in the game, especially with the recent buffs they got. I like the Achilles here because he's one of the few gods that can kind of deal with healers. If you get him low enough, you can just take him out of the equation.
Yeah, Achilles also really good into the Guan Yu, but they decided to ban the Guan Yu, so I mean, maybe that's just more of a comfort picks going by the way of the Poets there. Achilles okay god. I feel like he has a little bit of a tough time early clearing, but on the other side, speaking of some healers, Pele coming through, and now Discordia. A lot of CC, a lot of setup. I mean, this is a nice top 3 here for the Journeyman.
I definitely think so. They bring a lot of zone control because Pele can zone out a whole backline by herself. Discordia ultimate will make everyone run away from one person. So, and then Yamoja ult will isolate the entire team. So they're definitely going for a specific comp they want to do. It's going to be interesting to see what the Poets decide to pick up here.
None will flee my
they are
grasp.
hovering that Persephone, locking it in. Ooh, that's I know why they did it, right? They're like, hey, we're going to kill this Umoja on cooldown early. That's what they're aiming for, right? That's why they grabbed that Persephone. Though Persephone really is a double flat pen type of mage, in my opinion. You want the Divine Ruin. You want the Spear of Desolation. And in this meta right now, flat pen is not king. So, I mean, Persephone has that early pressure that you would maybe like over this Discordia, but I don't know if I'm going to like it transitioning into the late game.
I think Persephone's still one of the most annoying gods to face. She, like, in the lane when all the flowers are walking down at you, she brings so much to the table.
Oh yeah, her pressure is, you know, one of the top notches among mages. It's just kind of what will she do going into that late game. Those ultimates do some damage, but they're not as impactful, you know, in terms of like maybe bursting down like a mage like Discordia will bring with her ultimate. Bands coming through though, Shiva and Cupid coming by the way of the poets. Cupid a little bit of an interesting one, especially when you have a Daji. You would think, hey, I want you to pick that. On the other side though, Journeyman really targeting this support. They go, hey, you didn't pick a support in the top 3. We're banning out this Ymir that's good in the Umoja, and we're banning out Ganesh that also has a pretty decent time into those Umoja walls.
This Artemis pick is really interesting to me. Really immobile against a Pele and Umoja. That's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be tough. Can't even get over those Umoja walls either, so they're going to have to get a shell early, and they're going to have to upgrade it to get this Artemis through the walls. I mean, and then even if you try to ult this Pele, she can just ult your ult, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, what you doing now, right? So, I mean, pick interesting. Maybe it's a comfort pick for the poets. Maybe they've been working on it in some scrims. I mean, they do have a lot of beads burners on the side of the poets, though, so if they can coordinate those ults, they might be able to get some nice, easy picks.
Poet's team fight's kind of crazy right now between the Persephone, Artemis, and Daji.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Your chances.
It's just going to be, I think the biggest factor of this game right now is going to come down to the Artemis positioning, especially if with the on her getting locked in. Ooh. That is one of those old school season 1 matchups that if you've played the game long enough, you should be pretty comfortable with on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, and look, today, you know, first week of QSL, you're starting to see a lot of these newer picks that are getting buffed, getting played. Last game, we saw a lot of that. We saw the Najal. We saw a bunch of picks that got some good buffs get played last game, and now look, we see another one on her. Got some nice increased damage scaling on, I believe it's 2. And, you know, on her, very good matchup in the Artemis, right? Can jump on her, knock her up, pin her into a wall, and just delete her instantly.
And he's also one of the few hunters with the natural counter to Tusky. With his ultimate.
His ult.
I do really enjoy the Terra pick here. I think that's what the poets were kind of lacking, was another form of easier to hit big CC. Because if Artemis gets picked or something, they still have the Terra ult and the root to fall on for like just wide range CC and zone control.
Yep, I do really like it into the Milan, Umoja, and Pele. It's going to be a little bit difficult to maybe dive with that Terra on the back line, as both of them do have jumps, so they can just easily get out of it. But, I mean, that's going to be good for the counter engage, right? Getting rooted does not feel good for any one of either the soul laner or jungler.
Absolutely not. And with how crazy walls are right now, so like they at least have some sort of like path blocking that they can do with the Terra walls.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have a good bit of zoning. I mean, even some healing coming out of Terra is not too bad either. She can go Fade Bless too, can drop a bunch of those passives just like Umoja is doing. I mean, who do you kind of give the edge here to in terms of team comps?
I honestly think they're pretty even. I think the poets pull it out ahead if they play it correctly. If Artemis is really mindful of her positioning and they do a good job appealing, Terra does a good job appealing for her backline, I think they have the edge just because Achilles and Daji is a menace in anyone's backline if they can't peel them out.
Yeah, I do feel like if the poets are able to play safe, like you said, they're going to have a nice, fun, easy time in here. But, I mean, that's easier said than done, man, right? You got this Mulan that's going to be able to dive. You got this Pele who's going to be able to be a nuisance, blinking in, ulting in. You even have this Umoja that can just completely zone off half your team for free. Yes. And then even on her, if he wants to get active, he can jump in. I've seen some crazy things from on her in these past couple of weeks.
They do have a really dive compy, so it's really to see if they can, like, peel effectively against 4 people jumping at them.
Yeah, right. I mean, you were saying earlier, teams are either peel, sit back and sustain, or you have these heavy dive bursty comps, right? You think, oh, Daji, that's the high dive bursty comp, but no, I mean, we're gearing more towards the Journeymen with this Pele, Milan, and on her as more of the divey, get in your face type of team.
Yes. I'm actually really interested to see this Milan Achilles matchup in lane. I think that's really going to be a determining factor is if one of them can get a significant lead or not. Milan with any sort of lead into the late game is just abusive, especially with the Soul Eater. Like, she is so hard to take down.
Yeah, I feel like both of these gods kind of have that rough early game, right? They have those rough couple early levels. I feel like whichever one of them can get online quicker is just going to snowball, in my personal opinion, into the late game. So maybe we're going to look to see some early ganks, right? Maybe this Daji comes over. Milan, a very immobile god early. Maybe you're going to see some high early soul lane pressure. Same thing with this Pele. Achilles, he does have his dashes, but Pele can easily close that distance with a 3.
Yes. Pele was the original Lancelot, the god that can run from one end to the other in 2 seconds.
Yeah. You know, now they gotta now every new god in the game has to have like 7 abilities from all the other gods that exist.
Oh yeah, we talked about that earlier. How it's like interesting to see like older gods passives versus new god passives. Like we were talking about Fenrir, where like his runes would each give an individual buff when you built them if he was released like today.
Oh yeah. They like, you know, they always have to one up themselves. I mean, look at Ishtar. You know,
crazy.
You got Hachi Man. You got Hachi Man who has his one that extends the autos, and then like Ishtar's like, yeah, that's like part of my one. Like I got 2 other forms of that. You know, so you know, you just make characters obsolete with just one ability. But you know, we're gonna be going into this game soon, as you said. You know, kind of an even matchup. I like that, right? In the last game we casted, it was, you know, a lot of times you were kind of like, oh, I can gear towards this team winning, right? Or this team winning based on the comp. This one though does look pretty even. I feel like it's all gonna come down to who plays the comp better and who has the better individual players in those comps.
I agree with that. Like it really boils down to which team sticks to their game plan and executes it correctly. I think it's really going to take the lead.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like, in my honest opinion, I think the poets, they have a very like interesting comp though, because they have some early game characters and some mid game characters. And then they have the 2 late game character, or they have the 2 late game characters in Daji and Lake on this Persephone in the mid game, right? Persephone late game, if you get a 2-3 combo, you're basically one-shotting people. Same thing with this Daji late game, you're just one-shotting someone. But Achilles, I feel like, starts to fall off a little bit into the late game. His mid game, he spikes, has a massive mid game. Same thing with Terra, right? Terra has an amazing early mid game. Late game, I feel like, you know, kind of gets picked out a little bit easier and bursted down. But on the other side, you know, a lot of their team is late game oriented. The only one on their team that's not really late game oriented is Mr. Craig Afro on this Anhur.
This is true, but Anhur, in my opinion, is the outplay god of Smite. I mean, if you've played this game from any amount of time, you have been touched by an Anhur. He will just outplay you, and you can't understand why.
Touched and not in a good way, right?
Yeah.
So interesting builds here, right? Anhur, you normally see going Transcendence, likes to get that power spike online, so his 2 does some damage. As the servers may crash or pause coming through.
No.
One or the other. But I mean, as we were saying, right? This Anhur decided to go Death and is going into the Devil's Gauntlet, right? So normally you see more of a power spike coming into them with the Transcendence. Do you like the Devils on this Anhur, or would you rather see that Transcendence build?
I'm a big believer in Anhur's auto attacks just because of his passive. I like the lifesteal build just because I think it gives my ADC more freedom in a fight to kind of be self-sufficient versus needing a little bit more peel. And Anhur he does well into tanks, and they have a Terra and Achilles. So with his passive, and if he goes lifesteal, plus with the execute on the board, I don't mind it, because it allows him to be self-sufficient. Oh, and the big jump coming through.
And we came back with a perfect combo there. Craig Afro in this duo lane with Mr. Dirty Bubble, the Amos call up. You know, this is the Anhur pressure, right? This the you know, plus side of going into an Artemis, right? You get that massive early pressure, just way better clear. Mr. Wriggle, the majors drop down this season, playing that Pele. Craig Afro though getting rooted, comboed by Pathos and Seno. He took a lot of damage there. I'm kind of surprised he took that much.
Yeah, that's that's the thing about Terra is you can kind of sack your level 1 to go for a really strong level 2, or you can just go for a strong level 3. So once she kind of gets that root combo, it's really, really difficult to deal with her in lane.
Yeah, I mean, she is being quite a nuisance for this on her early, which I'm a little surprised. I thought this on her would just kind of bully this early game. I mean, as I'm saying this, he's already back to full HP, and he really didn't use anything. I guess he used, 1 HP pop potentially, but with Dirty Bubble kind of sustaining him, and then also this Death Toll combined with his Tier 1 Devours. I don't know. I don't believe Tier 1 Devours has lifesteal on it, but I mean, this Death Toll alone, oh, it does have 5%. This Death Toll and that combined, like, he's not going to worry too much about sustain.
One thing Terra does have good into on her is the fact if she has her passive up, on her can't get her off of him. She will just be on you like glue because she's immune to knockbacks, knockups.
Oh yeah, yeah, very difficult, right? As you saw right there, just tried to 2-her, didn't even move. And said, "I'm not flinching. I don't care about that." On the solo side, though, I mean, Brachiozoid, right? I mean, as we do see a blue invade coming in here, Jovi 30 very low. That Mulan pressure coming in, and the blue buff does go the way of the Journeyman. So that early pressure from the Mulan, it might be a little too much for this Achilles.
Yeah, Achilles has a really, really hard time clearing wave early. Oh, and it looks like Yamoja's gonna fall for the first blood.
Those Dash says that's a free cleanup. Beads coming out of bubble, maybe a little bit too late on the beads. And hey, you got my blue buff, but guess what? We're taking the purple on the other side. And an Artemis that should be losing, should be down, is now stripping farm away from this on her.
Oh, that's interesting. They're giving that purple buff over to the Terra.
Well, I mean, more than likely they're going to be able to get their own, unless they really troll here. They're more than likely going to be able to get their own. That will probably then go the way of Senna, which isn't too bad. I mean, for the most part, like the second green buff, maybe even the third sometimes, the support doesn't even walk over to grab it. They're just so not terrible. I mean, and it gives that penetration too.
Yeah, I really like it on Terra because not only she can buff Radas with your damage, so it just does more. Like it's just super handy. Plus having that debuff that it has on it as well, being on your support when they're in the face the whole time is really nice.
You're talking about that annoyance coming out of the Persephone being very annoying, but Wriggle blinks in on him. He dashes towards Reaver. Reaver picking up the kill there. What is one? Wriggle did ult. Now Crow is a little bit out of position, trying to just clean up the kill here on the mid laner. Does pick him up. Oh my goodness, that has to be a dub for Crow, who you would thought there's no way he's going to be able to get a kill or even save his own life.
Yeah, he definitely made the right decision for going to the trade instead of getting out, because with the support rotating over, I don't think he had a very good shot of escaping. So the fact he just went for the trade, cut his losses a little bit, keep moving forward.
Look at this! Look at this support level. Look at this support level discrepancy, though. Have you ever seen a support? Oh, I guess it's only 1 level now, but it was 2 levels a couple seconds ago. But like a support being 2 levels up in like a laning phase where you only die 1 time, that's just always tough to see. I mean, Senno here does have his ultimate. I'm surprised he's not popping it. They probably could have killed Dirty Bubble again, who does not have the beads. But just deciding to play it safe. He is an early game Artemis. He just wants to get to that late game. Brachiozoid ulting in on the backside, trying to steal that blue buff, but no prevail. Jovi 30 though, half HP, low on mana, but Brachiozoid not enough damage to pick it up. Wriggle there, just looking for the invade.
I like the confidence coming to that Mulan, just to ult into 2 people with your support being pretty far back of the Pele.
Oh yeah, I mean, he just doesn't care. I mean, he's got the most bloated. Watch out, Lake. Boom, boom, boom. You're dead. See you later. Wriggle picking up the big kill on Pele, but you do not want to let this Pele get online, man. 2-0-1 level lead. A Pele that has an early game lead is a menace, and right now they're letting him get online.
Yeah, she's one of the most snowbally characters in the game because, like we said earlier, she's really fast, so if she gets a lead, she can take that lead everywhere before your jungle can even realize what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, and next thing you know, she's one-shotting somebody with her 2-1 combo. I mean, as we see Crow here, Craig Afro a little bit pressed up. He does, I think, have a ward in the jungle. No, he doesn't. He just, has that natural instinct to understand the dash coming in from Dodgy, though not enough mana, not going to be able to ult or use the 1. And, Craig Afro really walking away with just little to no damage taken on him. Though purple buff is up. Maybe they're looking to pressure that, but no. Crow's just going to walk away. Mid lane builds real quick, though. One already has his Book of Thoth online and is stacking it. The other one hasn't even finished the Hasn't even finished a Warlock staff yet.
That is interesting. This is just me asking because I don't play mages too much.
Reverb.
Is Warlocks more expensive?
Oh, reverb. I do not believe so, honestly. I mean, they're pretty close in price. I think he should. Yeah, as you see, he literally finished it in the ball at tier 1.
Yeah.
Just was waiting in the back, and what a great back to go by dying. Back to base as he lazy backs over there by the red buff. His life taken by this Persephone. You were talking about this annoyance of Persephone, right? This early pressure of Persephone. Disco does have a very rough time early on as Rigid Wriggle is invading this blue buff by himself. Though Pathos on the rotation over forced the ult out. Though I kind of take that dub, right? Gets a teleport out of Kobe 30 and an ult for a blue buff. I like that.
I mean, they're starting to feel the pressure of the Pele right now. She has a little bit of a lead, so she's just going to run all over the map, taking whatever she can. And it's really hard to keep up with her.
Yeah, now Crow's 2 levels down. I mean, Dodgy, a very good late game character that will just one-shot anyone. But, I mean, it's got to feel shitty to be 2 levels down early on. I mean, excuse my language. Sorry about that. It's got to feel very bad early on to be down on Dodgy. I feel like, what do you do? Like, do you just become an ult bot then if like, you're behind this far in levels?
I think so, and then you start looking at the map a little differently. So, Pele's put a lot of prio on solo side. And you have an Achilles over there. Achilles is pretty safe. He's not really going to die. He has a lot of self-sustain if he just plays, like, mindful. You can sack that lane. He won't be too far behind, and then maybe try to get this Artemis, who had an early lead at one point, get her as ahead as you can, because she is your win con late game.
So Artemis is not having a tough time into Craig here. Maybe Craig's kind of waiting for this executioner power spike, or he's just waiting for big dog Rigid Wriggle to come over and gank for him. Blink coming in, knock up coming through, ult by on her, and there is the kill. Just when I said he was doing great, I jinxed it. It's almost like I'm an NFL broadcaster.
Caster's curse.
I mean, I'm sorry, Seno. I won't talk about your performance in the laning phase because I just, I got you killed there. But, I mean, that was a good gank. And now Crow trying to gank, but again, look at that. Like, he's just 1 level down, but it looks like he did almost no damage. Ult coming through. Oh, a little tough. A little tough there to miss. I mean, even if he did hit, on her does have beads, just kind of gets freely away. Rigid Wriggle doing a lot of damage onto this mid laner. Lake ulting just for his own peel, but not enough. Rigid Wriggle picking up the kill, and now this jungle is, I feel like, at that point where you're going to have to kind of kit dump a bunch of stuff into him just to kill him.
Yeah, like it's to the point in the game where if you sack 1 or 2 people to kill him, it's kind of worth it.
Joby 30, come on, buddy. You got to get out of there. You gotta survive. Ult away, man. Ultimate still up for this Achilles, and nothing going his way.
Oh man.
Oh my.
That was a dirty bounce.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that ultimate that just came through. Did not happen. These AMA players coming up, they're doing what they must in these games, but that was a questionable Disco, swing and a miss. Disco barely missing there. I do believe though they did get the beads out of that Artemis. That's a good chance for them to gank, right? I mean, on her jumps in on him, knocks him up, can then two him into a wall. That should be pretty free. And now that on her that I said was very surprised that the game is very even, now has a nice level lead and just backed and finished his executioners.
Yeah, this is one of those tough spots where Pele's just so far ahead. You have to kind of figure out what side of the map she's on and put all your prio on the other one, I feel like. Rotating 3 people to go and kill this on her or to go and kill this Mulan while Pele's looking at the other side of the map is not a bad option at this point. They just need to get farmed somewhere because they've been getting invaded a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, Rigid Wriggle just kind of doing his thing, but I mean, they're setting their sights on this mid laner. They're doing a lot to make his life a living hell. As we do see Crow ulting, though I don't believe he hit anything on the mark. Now, on the backside, Craig Afro is rotating. Rigid Wriggle deletes Crow. Craig Afro is here. He does. Oh, I thought he was gonna pillar and stun right there, but no. Pathos able to dash away safely. Brachiosaurus rotating over. This has to be a Gold Fury call. Seno very low on mana. Didn't get his executioners. This should be a free Gold Fury going the way of the Journeymen. And yeah, the poster is kind of sacking this and giving it up.
They don't really have a way of fighting it. Their jungle just died. The only ultimate they have in their chest right now is Achilles ult.
Yeah,
Um,
and Achilles was on the other side of the map. He wasn't even there.
yeah,
Not bad on the Achilles, but I mean, it just sucks. Brachiosaurus didn't even have to rotate over to the Gold Fury, so he could take those mid waves and then just go right back to solo lane. And look, now this 2-level lead, he's just being that bully again. Again, like I said, whoever can develop more early pressure in this soul. Oh my goodness, he stole
that's
it.
just
Okay,
unfortunate.
that's a war crime right there. We got to report him for a war crime. Uh, but I mean, look, 2 items completed out of him. He even has Tainted Seal. Why he's got Tainted Seal? I guess for the Terra late game. I mean, this is how he's kind of styling on him. He said, "Look, I'm gonna go with the item you should have went. This Achilles should have went Tainted Seal. He didn't. And you know this Milan's kind of making him pay the price.
I'm just saying, you go that Tainted Steel upgrade that gives you part of the healing, and you proc Tyra with that when she ults. Ooh, that's a lot of healing coming your way.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. I mean, very smart item. You would think on the other side he would do the same thing, right? You would think this Achilles would do the same thing. They have Yamoja, they have Pele who has his own self heal. They have Mulan self healing. They have so much healing on their side. You would think that both of them would have gone take the steal, but you know, opts for the Warriors axe more. Wants that more pokey burst sustain out of the Warriors axe. I mean, and I don't know. In my opinion, it's not working out for him.
I also think Hero's Axe is one of the most slept on upgrades too. Um, Especially in this kind of game where you just need to keep your carries alive. So that huge shield that's going to come out will also pay abundance, I think. So I can see the mindset behind it if that's his plan is to go to Hero's Axe at this point in the game.
So again, a little overzealous, trying to solo the Pyromancer. Oh my goodness, Crow goes in and still almost dies. Wriggle, I think, beats that and does safely get out, but very low. Brachiosaurus now trying to pick up the kill. Nobody helping Crow out. Brachiosaurus ulting in, killing him, and then knocking up the 2 other ones. The support almost screwed over Lake himself and zoned him off, and now the rest of the team is here, so they can, again, pull Pyromancer. So kind of a troll on that pulling Pyromancer with just 2, but now 5 of them are here. Craig came over. Seno still in that duo lane. This should be a free Pyromancer, and it is. You know, Yamo just kind of flexing the ult, saying, look, I don't even need this. I'm just going to ult just the ult.
Yeah, I get the mindset of we have to do something to get back into this game. We have to find farm anywhere, so if we can pull an objective. But you have to be absolutely sure that there is no one coming there. Like, your vision has to be on point, everything.
Yeah, I mean, they had a little bit of wardage there on the top side, as you see over there, but I mean, that's it. They couldn't see if they were coming from mid or whatever. I mean, even when they did that, like, in my opinion, kind of sloppy of a little play there, they still got the W. We do see
Yes.
we do see Hydras coming out of Pele. I mean, you don't really see that too often, right? Are you a Hydras Pele supporter?
Um, I think at this point in the game, she can get away with it just because she's so massive, and you kind of get that free auto after the knockup. Oh,
Wait,
man.
was Pathos there? Was Pathos even there to begin with? Deletion.
That was a cool magic trick, bro. Do it again.
Yeah. I didn't know Pele had an execute because that man just got deleted off the face of the earth. I mean, hey, I'll shut up about the Hydras because I mean, you get a lead and you just delete someone like that. He's 3 levels up on this jungler. This is tough, man.
And
Dodgy this behind, like he like we said, he just turns into an ult bot until he gets a late game. But it's like,
yeah.
will this game get to that point?
That kind of proves my point about like the free autos. Like, she was able to ult and then get that cone auto right after. It's just like, oh, that's a lot of damage coming out with that Hydras.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'll stop questioning, right? The legendary Wriggle knows all apparently. Though, like, look at this. Look at Disco just now finishing stack. We do see Crow kind of ganking this dual lane, but look, he's doing like next to no damage. Gonna ult and trade. I feel like that's a good trade there for the honor. I mean, gets the gank, not a lot of damage, and just ult trade for ult trade. I mean, he still has his beats.
Yeah, I like the effort that Red Side's putting in. They're definitely trying to make something happen. Like, you can applaud them for that. But it's just, it hurts a little bit, especially when you're in the position Poets are, when you're putting in all this effort for something like that, and he just walks away for his ult. It's just like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just really tough, man. I mean, like, they're not having a lot of damage. I mean, Lake is double stacking, so I mean, you at least have that going on to the late game. If you can stall this game out, that double stack will start to do some damage late game. I mean, like I said, this Persephone, when gets to late game, can 2-3 someone and just delete them off the face of the earth. As much as we were saying, Honor is a massive counter into this Artemis. Artemis and this Honor are still kind of the same level. So we are seeing massive discrepancies on the right side of the map, right? But on this left side and mid, I mean, it's still pretty even.
Yes, and Artemis, I think, is definitely their win con right now. She's probably the most farmed, the most like comparable to her counterpart. Oh, and then he blows someone up again.
Late got a little too greedy there. Wanted to poke out reverb and got deleted off the face of the earth. The blink coming in out of Brachiozoid, forcing the beads from Crow. It's just kind of 1v3 zoning him out on his own. Who's gonna kill him? He's level 15 at this point. I mean, the ADC is the same level as him, but I mean, good luck trying to kill somebody with basically three physical protection items. And then in the meanwhile, Wicked Wiggle taking that mid tower. I mean, the lead was only 3K, right? At one point. Now it's 7.
Yeah.
Or 6.
It's definitely a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult at this point, right? Like, because your team, in my opinion, is centered more towards the late game, right? Lake, Crow, Seno, they're more late game oriented team comps, right? So it's kind of odd that they want to fight early, right? You would think that they want to kind of just farm, get to that late game, and then do what they do best, right? But they took a little bit of greedy fights early on. Props to the Journeymen though. They understood. Hey, we have the early pressure. Let's invade this blue buff. Let's make this Achilles basically useless. I mean, and off of the back of that, they've just been kind of steamrolling.
Yes, and then this is a game where you just have to kind of hunker down with red. Your team fight's a little bit stronger, in my opinion, so they need to start grouping as 5, like goon squatting it, and see if they can just pick out 2 people by themselves, or even 3 people by themselves, and just straight number diff them.
Yeah, I mean, even do that, or even like maybe even potentially stall, right? Just try to make this game go to that 30-minute mark, right? Because then it's like, okay, we're all level 20. Then we're all basically full build. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you get in the early game, because we're all the same level, all the same build. I mean, but the problem is getting there, right? Because if you give up too many fire giants, if you give up too many towers, at some point that gold lead is going to be so insurmountable that there's no way you're going to be able to come back.
Honestly, unpopular opinion, this Terra needs to go Emps armor, and they need to start taking defenses real hard.
Yeah, I mean, Emps armor is an option, right? Lets that tower do a little bit extra damage, though we're not even seeing the Journeyman really like tower dive, right? I mean, how many times have you seen someone like they're just kind of picking them off as they're positioning poorly in around the mid and the mid 3-3, right? I feel like maybe if the posts bought some more wards, warded more safely, they could kind of survive a little bit longer and really just kind of path out where this Pele is.
Yeah, that's a big thing too, is just knowing where she's gonna pop up next. And maybe just having a little bit safer positioning. Like, let the Journeymen kind of push up and just clear waves at your tower line. Like, try to force the dive, make them get impatient.
Old it's coming out of the 80. Oh, out of the ADC though. Wicked Wiggle blinking into the ult, but not enough. Picking up the kill on a Seno. I mean, that's some good value though out of Seno. He got a beads. He got 2 beads. He's got a blink. He got some decent amount of value out of that, though. None of his team able to rotate over to kind of help and clean up. They're just more focused on gearing towards farm to try to get to that late game that we were talking about. I do like though that the Journeymen understand they have this lead, right? They have this good lead, a nice 7K gold lead, right? So they're grouping, right? You see them 4-man grouped around this red buff, invading this red buff, right? This Honor isn't afraid to leave the lane, right? He understands, like, hey, I'm going to do a lot more in this mid to early game than I am late. So let me try to use that. Oh my goodness. As Richard just deletes Crow.
He's out of control.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I just feel sorry for Crow. I mean, he's just getting erased by an ultimate and like 2 abilities.
Pele's at the point where if you go 1 for 3 in a fight, but the one you kill is Pele, that's worth it.
Oh yeah, I mean
that is worth it.
She's got a bounty of like probably a K gold, right? So it's like you kill her, you gain a level, and you get like a tier 2 item.
Like if Terra gets that last hit, she'll shoot up to level 14.
Yeah, but I mean, look at this, right? Crow has that anti-heal, right? Who else on the team's got anti-heal? No one, right? So this Pele is gonna heal like a madman, and Crow is just dying so fast that he can't even apply the anti-heal.
Definitely
I
want to see like a contagion or a pestilence coming out on either the Terra or the Achilles, probably in the next item slot.
yeah, I mean, yeah, some anti-heal there. I mean, even a divine ruin on the side of Lake here. He does have 20% pen there, right? He's going this. He's going this Soul Reaver here, but then again, right?
Yeah.
He's more than likely going to go more percent pen on that last item, so he's not even going to be able to get a Divine Ruin. So it's going to be very tough to really just stop this healing out of this team. Maybe you would like to see a Cursed Ankh out of this Terra. I mean, he does. He actually
She
does have
an
that. He
Ankh
does
right
have that
now,
Cursed
yeah.
Ankh picked up. So that, when upgraded to the final tier, we'll have some good late game impacts. But we're gonna have to see if it's enough to be able to, kind of lock down this Pele.
Yes. I think I'm not sure how I feel about.
I'm pretty sure Craig sees him right now.
Yeah, they have to.
Look at Pele. He's just by himself over here, blinking in. Does get the shell, I think, out of the. Actually, it wasn't even a shell. He just got a shield. Or was it a shell? Yeah, it was a shell out of the mid laner. Lake not opting for Aegis. Probably one of the best actives into a Pele. Can easily just Aegis a lot of the damage. Mulan just kind of being a nuisance on the back line. 1v4 kind of zoned by himself. A big root in by Reaver, but no follow-up damage. As they're just kind of trying to press their lead here, the Journeymen. And, the Poets are doing a good job just kind of like delaying and stalling. But big ults coming out of the mid laner and Wriggle. Brockazoid does get rooted by Lake, but not enough. Wriggle picks up kill. Brockazoid cleans up. Jovi finally does get a kill. That's probably worth 1,000 gold, but he's by himself in a 1v4. That is another win going by the way of the Journeyman.
The positive is they did kill the raid boss.
Yeah, they destroyed the raid boss. I mean, yeah, we're not gonna talk about what he did before he died, but I mean they finally killed him.
Yeah.
We're also not gonna talk about the fact that they're gonna get Fire Giant here too. But I mean, finally they did kill him. Oh, and I think we're back into another stasis mode. You gotta love a smite game, bro. Stasis modes are the best.
Yes. One thing I want to say on the Terra is I'm not sure how I feel too much about the Benevolence versus the Sentinels this game. As a support main myself, I like the item, but against a team where I know the major problems are going to be coming out of Pele and on her, especially towards the late game, the aura would pay dividends to your team just to give all that extra prot. And if you match that with a Lotus Crown on your ultimate, you're giving people so much prot for free late game.
Oh yeah, the aura is definitely a good argument to have. I mean, and also you're a Terra. They're going to build a lot of anti-heal for you, right? So it's
yes,
you have Benevolence, but how much is it actually going to heal when you have 3-4 anti-heal items getting procced on you on cooldown? They already have the Tainted Steel, so that's already getting procced on whoever he's trying to heal.
Plus, just the Fat Compassion doesn't give any fizz prot. Just it hurts me. That's my biggest aversion to that item.
Benevolence is a very good, I would like to say, early game starter item. Very, the sustain that you rarely get for it is very nice and very, very amazing. I mean, even when you upgrade it to Compassion, it does have a plus side because you mitigate some of the damage that your team takes. But I mean, I do believe that the aura would kind of help. I mean, especially with this Pele now and how she's literally just one-tapping anyone she ults.
Yes. Just give your team that extra little prot, and a lot of the time it catches, especially jungles who are really focused on damage numbers. It'll catch them off guard when someone takes an extra auto or an extra ability to kill that they're just not ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're again, they're gonna get this Fire Giant. I know the game just kind of froze on us, but there's no way they're gonna be able to stop this Fire Giant. I mean, after they get Fire Giant, what do you want to see the Journeyman kind of do with this Fire Giant? And then what do you want to see the Poets do on the opposite side to try and defend that?
Journeyman definitely need to start whacking down these T2s. That's definitely the next step for them. They're kind of big enough to where they could split it and then force the Poets kind of pick where they're gonna make their big defense. And also, if I'm Poets, I don't even know if I really contest the T2s too hard. Because then you risk them getting a free Phoenix if you take a bad T2 fight and they wipe 3 people off the board. You can't even stop them if they decide to take a Phoenix after that.
Yeah, no, I feel like the Poets at this point are at that point where they have to just kind of sack these tier 2s. Maybe they can make a glory play, just try to, burn some ultimates to burst someone down real quick who's caught off guard and doesn't beads or something like that. But, I mean, besides that, they might have to sack a bunch of these tier 2 towers, which is gonna be tough, right? Because now that gives the Journeymen an already bigger lead than what they already have. I think they're at like probably 9K right now after they get this fire giant. I mean, after they take all the tier 2 towers, that could be like upwards of 12 to 13K.
Yes, and then the one thing I will say about this game, anytime there's Achilles in this game, there's always potential for a turnaround. If everything goes according to plan, Achilles could walk away with the pentakill and they win the game off of that. So they always have hope by the fact they have the resetting execute.
I mean, yeah, they definitely have a chance to come back into this game. While we wait, though, for this game to come back in, we're going to take a quick little break. And once they're back in and ready to go, then we will be back.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our clouds when people change, but not us. And we just chilling, kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the moss soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. bass guitar. Simmer down and mess me up. Tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford. Shivers down my spinal cord. Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word. Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up running. And I don't need to speak a single word. Cause you got me holding, holding.
So we had a great series of events there. So meanwhile, we got stasis moded, the game was still going on. Journeymen decided we're gonna take the fire giant and end the game in that meantime. So we couldn't hop back into the cast, and the game is over. So now we're in game number 2. Journeymen got that fire giant. I guess they cleaned house and then won the game there pretty quickly.
Yeah, they played to their comp strengths. They had the Pele, they rushed in, diving the heck out of the back line. She has had complete map control. It's going to be interesting what the Poets bring up to counter that this upcoming game.
Yeah, I mean, the Journeyman just brought a lot of early game pressure. Maybe you will see these Poets kind of, pick some gods that have some early game presence a little bit. I mean, Dodgy wasn't bad. It's just, Dodgy gets behind, and that's what kind of happens. This does no form of damage at all. Journeyman banning out that Khepri again. They're saying, I don't want to deal with that. Now, on the other side, they're like, hey, your Moja was annoying last game. I hate the healing. I don't want to deal with it. Hades ban coming through. Cabrakan ban. I mean, this is just pretty normal stuff. You're probably gonna see a Guan Yu getting banned here coming up soon. Out of the way of the Poets. Yu Huang getting banned from them. Poets more than likely will go Guan Yu, and then same thing. This Dodgy's open. Lancelot's gonna be open. They do have some options. Even this Thor is gonna be open. They're gonna have some options on the side of the Journeyman. But no, they opt for the Thor instead of banning the Guan Yu.
I think Thor's one of those gods that people are rediscovering, and there is the Guan Yu first pick.
Yeah, I mean, people haven't seen Thor in a while, right? Thor hasn't really been meta in a couple of years. It's been quite a while. I'm pretty sure I was still in high school when Thor was meta, and I'm 27 now. So, tough times with Thor. Hasn't been seeing a whole lot of love. Been seeing love in the Marvel movies, but no love in Smite game. But there's some things that counter Thor still. I mean, you don't have to be that scared. You know, it's a pretty good counter. I honestly believe Naja is a very good counter in the Thor, right? If that man ever throws his one hammer out and then you sash him, good luck.
Yeah.
Deletion time.
One thing about Thor too is he's one of those gods that you just have to sit there and play. Like, the good Thor players are like machines more than their Smite players, because it's just like super mechanic heavy to actually be good at that god.
Oh yeah, the god has to be played a different way. A lot of the times you see these junglers just try to go into mode onto their backline. As you do see that Guan Yu getting locked in, as we assumed, just like one of the most broken solo laners in the game right now. But you see more along the lines of Thor kind of just playing that 2-1 poke game, right? Where he kind of does a lot of damage poke wise, doesn't maybe fully commit because he's afraid of the CC follow up that might kill him. But I mean, just sort of a different style. Maybe people aren't used to it, because they haven't seen him in a century.
Not to mention, he has one of the best ults in the game in terms of just catching people off guard with ganks or even initiating team fights.
Yeah, very nice with that global ultimate. Has great pressure on the map, great team fighting. But I don't mind the Poets banning it. It's just now they're gonna have to deal with an even bigger solo lane bully. Mulan already a solo lane bully in the early game. Now we're gonna get this late game bully in Guan Yu and the Morgan coming through now too. I mean, double Guan Yu ults coming through. I mean, that's gonna be interesting to see 2 cavalry charges coming flying at you.
Rama Horus being locked in on the side of Poets. I like Horus. I like Horus a lot. I think he falls off late game pretty hard though, in terms of the support role. And he's only really, really good at like peeling off one person.
Yeah, I mean that combined. Well, I mean, also you got to think about it. Like, you can't even if Guan Yu's spinning, he can't knock him up, right? So
you can stun him out of it.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, yeah, hindsight kind of
Yeah.
right? You know, I mean, yeah, he can stun him, but it's like if the Guan Yu kind of delays long enough, I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be tough for this horse to, really stop that spinning axe. Ymir getting locked in now too, a big nuisance there. Rama though is one of Seno's favorite, right? Seno, I personally know Seno played against Seno a bunch. I see that man play Artemis. I see that man play Rama. I see that man play Cupid. There's I don't know, another 10 to 12 other ADCs. I swear I've never seen that man play anything else.
I actually really like the Ganesha here. I think Ganesha fits real well into the comp, and it fits real well at countering a lot of the people they have on the side of Journeyman.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good into the Morgan, gets her out of that invis. Very good into Guan Yu, stops the spin. I mean, you were talking about Horus in support, though. I mean, what do you think about Horus in the solo lane? I mean, is that any better?
I think of all the solo laners, I think he has a pretty good matchup into Guan Yu, just because of the fact he can stop his wave clear. And he's pretty safe in terms of, like, you can play pretty aggressive, and then you still always have that heal in your back pocket to maybe fly to a creep wave, or if your jungle's over a wall or something.
Yeah, the poets are opting to go a little more pressure in the solo lane this time than they were last game, so that's at least good. Maybe we won't see this solo laner kind of have that big, aggressive 2 to 3 level lead as he did in the last game.
Yes. It's one of those lanes where, like, Horus won't kill you, but he'll definitely hurt you because he has, like, that prot shred, he has the knockup, and he's really, really difficult to kill.
Oh yeah, he'll at least bring that early game bully lane pressure that Guan Yu is just not good into. Going through these bans though, Artemis ban actually coming out from the Poets, a little interesting, but I mean, Horus, you got Ganesha, you don't really want them kind of dashing in on this backline and then getting ulted by Artemis, so an okay ban. Dodgy ban coming through too, I mean, pretty good into Ganesha, so an alright ban. On the other side, you do have that Vulcan in Disco, just taking away these mid laners. They don't really want to ban any jungles. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't ban any jungles either. Rig and Wriggle just kind of dominated in the jungle last game, so they want to keep their options open for what junglers he could potentially play.
This is true. I wonder if he's going to run it back on the Pele. He's probably feeling pretty good after that game.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he does. I mean, he dominated the last game. I mean, they didn't even ban it, which is also kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. What I find kind of interesting, these last two bans on both sides, Poets actually played the dodgy Artemis, and Journeyman played the Disco.
It's time for some fire.
Yeah, they're just kind of banning out what they themselves played, which is, yeah, that is very interesting to say the least. Baba Yaga coming through on the Poets. All right. People, I swear, people don't know how to kill this damn Baba Yaga. All you have to do is go an auto attacker, and you melt Baba Yaga even through the ult, right? Please just pick an auto attacker. I swear I see too many people pick ability-based junglers, and then they don't do enough damage to the Baba Yaga. And as I say, that as I say it, right? Now, please, at least give me an ADC that has amazing attack speed and amazing shred. Give me an X ball. Give me something along
bro,
those
it's gonna
lines,
be
right?
a Cupid. Watch.
Oh yeah, if it's a Cupid, I'm throwing the mic down because then how?
Wait, Kali ADC?
Yo,
I'm here for it.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was gonna say, Cernanos, okay, Cernanos has a little bit of prod shred, but is one there, so maybe not too bad. Maybe we can shred through that Baba Yaga a little bit. Ravana getting last pick here for the jungle, a pretty good pick, very safe into their team comp. I do kind of like it though. Ravana does kind of fall off a little bit into that later game, but I mean, I thought maybe the Journeymen were gonna go Kali jungle. Actually, I don't even know what they would have went there. Honestly,
Ymir ADC, 100%.
I was thinking they were gonna go the Morgan ADC, right? And then maybe tell guess Camazot's mid. But I mean, I don't know. Reverb didn't look too amazing on the Disco last game, though he's not a mid laner, he is a jungler. So I mean, I maybe they're thinking, hey, you're a jungler, let's just throw you on Camazot's. Anybody can play that.
This is true. I'm actually not the biggest fan of the Ravana here. I have my own personal qualms about that god. My biggest issue with him is you have to be very, very good at the game, plus you have to be very, very good at the god to be effective, especially in like a team setting and comp setting.
Yeah. I mean, very high execution, but I mean, a big reward if you are able to kind of play it off.
This is true.
I think the Journeymen have a decent comp, but it's gonna be hard to execute, right? I mean, there's gonna be a lot of ways to run at this Baba Yaga. The Ravana, it can basically just kind of one-shot this Morgan by himself if he really wants to. It's gonna be hard for the Morgan to stay alive in a lot of these team fights, but they have that Guan Yu, right? They have that aggressive dive with the Guan Yu Kamazas. Cernanos can kind of root people to peel for the Morgan if it need be. Ymir also has that freeze. So again, I think it's gonna be, can they stop Rig and Wriggle in this game?
Yes. I do like the Poets have a lot more tools on their disposal to deal with a heavy dive, like the Ganesha ulti plus the silence. Horus is really good at zoning out one person. Plus Baba Yaga and Rama are both relatively safe carries. Both kind of have like an ult that can buy them time. They both have a decent escape.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the backliners have a lot of survivability just in their own kits alone. So it's almost kind of looking like, will the Journeymen be able to kind of burst them down before they get those safe ults off, or will the Poets be able to kind of delay those team fights and allow for their big burst damage to come off of the back of these ults?
Yes. Which team do you give it to right now? Like, if you had to pick which team, are we going to game 3 or are we ending 2-0?
After the momentum of game 1, I find it very hard for me to want to back the Poets. I mean, hey, I'm all for close competitive games. I like to see these game 3 nail biters, right? But I don't know. The Journeyman just looks so clean game 1. I find it very tough not to just back them again.
I will say, in this kind of situation where you kind of get wiped to game 1, it's real hard to bounce back. So it comes down to your mental. If you can play at like a better level the second game, maybe it was first game jitters. Maybe it's the first time these guys have played together. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a combo of things, right? One, it could be like 1 or 2 just terrible plays you decide to do, and then that just ends the game for you, right? I mean, it could be a multitude of things, right? But it's kind of how they're going to respond to the bounce back. I know a lot of the people on that team, Lake is not a person that will mental boom. Same thing along the lines with Crow or even Seno. I mean, those people I've known for a while. I mean, even Jovi30 in the solo lane, I know from Valhalla. These people, they should be able to mesh well. Let's see if they can do a better performance here in game number 2. And as I say that, perfect timing. Production tells us we are loading straight into game number 2. Will the Journeymen take home the prize, take home the quick 2-0, or will the Pullets ruin their party and send this to game number 3?
Apologies.
It's like, okay. Well, I got lied to.
Mistime.
I lied to myself. We are loading into the games. You know, it was still a hype introduction loading into the game there for me. If I can say so myself. I mean, I'm gonna.
I was hyped for it. Yeah, I was ready. Yeah, exactly. I was so ready.
I got a little bit of goosebumps just talking to myself there. But game loading in. Smite taking its sweet time. What's new? We already DC'd from game number 1. Now they're making me look like a fool going into game number 2. I mean,
stasis mode in loading screens.
Yeah. We're gonna get stasis mode halfway through this game too. It'll be very interesting and fun to watch. But I mean, look, Wolfman. So game number 1, right? When those games type of happen, what do you do? What do you think they should do? Should they just be like, hey, this is still 0-0. I don't even know what happened game number 1, or should they kind of look at game number 1 and be like, all right, we need to fix this and this?
I think you take a little bit of both. So you obviously know what your issues were coming out of game 1. You saw that Pele just kind of ran the map, and you never really got together and grouped and like found a way to counter that. But I also think you have to come into each game with a fresh mindset, because it is a different game. There's different gods on the map. There's going to be different builds going. Everything's different. The situation's different. So the best thing to do is be like, these are the things we struggled with. Now let's look at it and execute our game plan and try not to get caught up in the enemy's game plan like we did in game 1.
Now, this is not a false alarm. This time we are actually into the game. Dirty Bubble. This man is sneaky. This man is dirty. He's looking to invade that purple buff. But Pathos, it's It's like he has a sixth sense. He knew that Dirty Bubble was looking for that purple, and now look at him. Look at that slow little Ymir trotting back path. There's this kind of zone in there being like, hey, buddy, you're not taking this purple. I don't care. But, I mean, maybe he doesn't see him going back there. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of these purple invades from supports as he is going to actually probably get this thing. I don't know, though, if Ymir is actually capable of clearing this purple buff on his own.
It looks like he's just going to take the smalls and run.
Is that of any value? I can't even tell you.
I don't think he gets level 2 walking into lane now.
Yeah, no, because look,
neither of them do.
Yeah, they're not gonna get level 2. So like, cool, you took 2 minis. Wait, I mean, they're gonna still probably get pressure because it's just a Ymir and a Cernanos, but.
I mean, the positive they do have is that first buff is super squishy and he still does hog, so they can just walk over and clear it real quick.
Yeah, I guess that's a 12 gold net positive in the side of the Journeyman. Interesting choice there, but I mean, hey, a dub nonetheless. But now Seno and Pathos, if they kind of do this correctly, they can just keep pressure for the most of this. Wriggle, solos Jovi. Okay, I mean, we were just talking about this. You know, can't let him do his thing in game number 2, and then he kills somebody in 1 minute.
Oh, that's rough too on your solo laner of all people, especially with Guan Yu over there, just getting them that early lead.
Yeah, I mean, like Guan Yu getting that early lead now, and then into a Horus who really wants to snowball early. That's just tough for him, right? Because look, now I can almost guarantee you that blue buff is going to get a nice little visit from this Camazotz one way or another at some point in this game, as we do see Dirty Bubble taking a lot of poke here. If there's one thing, Pathos and Seno are doing a great job in this early 2v2 pressure. Dirty Bubble, I know he does not play a lot of support, at least in the minors division, so, you know, they're kind of maybe trying to take advantage of that, poking him out quite a bit. As we do see this Guan Yu almost killing Joe V30 again. Come on, man. Don't die 2 times in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, look, again, right? Don't you feel like they almost have like too much of a mixed comp? The Poets here, they have some early game characters. They got some late game characters. Right? They have these early game pressure from Horus and this Ravana, and then they got late game characters in this mid, as we do see this early pressure that I was talking about from the Ravana coming in. A big freeze, though, in the shell coming out of Dirty Bubble, though I don't believe it is enough. He is going to fall here by way of Seno. But oh my goodness, Crow dies to the tower. He got a little overzealous. Should have just let the ADC pick up the kill, and that's that blue buff invade I was talking about. Even Reverb came over there.
So that was smart from Journeymen to invade that blue buff. You saw the Ravana over in left side, so it's like, okay, let's just pull 3 people over. We all get extra farm, and we're not going to lose anything for it because they're all over there and the jungle just died.
I mean, even in the plus side, right? Poets get a kill, you're like, oh, nice, and then Crow dies to the tower, basically. So it's like even in their like celebrations, they're still kind of losing. Oh no, what is going on there? Okay, service.
Oh no.
I was about to say, not again.
It's like, are we already in stasis?
I thought we almost got stasis mode again there. But yeah, like I was saying, right? Like the Poets have this odd mix of some early game characters with late game characters, right? Right. So I understand why they're doing it, right? They want to leave some pressure in the soul lane, so they take, you know, early game pressure with this jungle and soul laner. But I mean, should they play for the early game, or should again they just wait till their 2 carries get online into this late game?
I think they should look for picks more than they should look to snowball the early. Because your solo lane, as much as I hate to say, it's kind of already lost. You gave Guan Yu a lead. Horus is going to have a really hard time getting back into this game. So right now your strong side is definitely duo. I think you play around that a little better.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Craig Afro moonwalking there. I didn't know this was a Michael Jackson video, but I mean, you know, it's very interesting how they want to play this. I feel like the Journeymen always have a comp that they just kind of excel at all stages, right? Cernanos, kind of, kind of okay in the beginning, but you know, ramps up as the game gets longer. Same thing with Ymir. Ymir's is kind of really good early, and then still isn't even the worst late game. If he positions correctly, he's quite honestly a menace. Camazotz even late game will one-shot you. Early game is a nuisance. Late game will one-shot you. The Morgan, the later this game ramps, will do a lot. And same thing with Guan, right? So I feel like the Journeymen have crafted a comp where their team all excels the longer this game goes, whereas the Poets just kind of have 1 or 2 that do that. And then we do see Wriggle coming in there, the dash coming out of the lake, but Wriggle deciding not to jump in as he kind of fears that ultimate coming out of the lake.
Yes, and oh, did he secure it? No. Oh, he did? Okay.
I think he got it that time. I'm proud. What? Did he?
I think Guan Yu got it. I think Guan Yu definitely got
Oh,
that.
yeah, Guan, you got it. Cause
Yeah.
it's not on the waist side of. Oh no,
Oh,
Mr.
no.
Crow, Mr. Crow, no, Mr. Crow. And now he's just gonna walk around the backside. No one's even
Wow.
gonna be able to pick him up. Guan Yu even getting out. This is just
And
kind
he's
of
gonna
like.
lose a speed buff. Oh, that's terrible.
I mean, at this point, is it just like bullying? I mean, like Mr. Rigger Riggles is kind of doing whatever he wants. We do see a big fight going on to the back camp here, though. Reverb is the sight of the target. Lake forced the ult. You know, got that little bit of shield, but it's not enough to stay alive. Rigger Riggle picking up the kill there. Turning into Ravana is Reverb. Trying to get out Joby 30. Not enough HP as he falls to Reverb. Ulting into the Ravana. Kind of, you know, rubbing salt in the wound there. Like, hey, you're only level 4. You don't even have an ultimate. So I'll turn into you and ult for you.
Yeah, that's that's just unfortunate. Everything that went wrong there went wrong.
Do you think maybe after game 1 their mental just kind of isn't there anymore? I mean, game 1 it was a lot more competitive at this minute. Now it is a 2.2k gold lead. You know, 6 minutes into the game, a 2.3k gold lead is, that's a massive thing to worry about.
I think what's kind of happening is they decided to put Prio on solo lane this game a little heavier. That's why you keep seeing all these big rotations over there. Because they noticed that Journeyman side was doing that. They were at every blue buff. They were at everything. So they're trying to counteract that by also fighting at every blue buff, bringing people over. And it's kind of that mindset of instead of like playing to your team's strengths, you're playing into the enemy strengths again.
Yeah, they're almost kind of doing like a more reactive type of play style, right? Where they're like seeing what they're doing and they're just instantly going, okay, well, I got to play very passive. As we see this sneaky little elephant coming down the backside. Stylance coming in, knock up coming through, a big one out of that. Ult to slow him down. This should be a clean kill by Senno. 1 ult miss, 2 ult miss, 3 ults miss. Rigger Wriggle killing the soul laner on the meanwhile on the side, and Craig gets out. Here comes the rotation in from the mid laner, Mr. Reverb getting the stun through, forcing the beats out of Shenno. Come on, you're like you have the opportunity to get the pick, and now another blue buff finally goes the way of the poets. But I mean, he just beats. Oh, this is getting rough here on the side of them. And look at that. This speed buff is probably going to go the way of Rigger Wriggle over there.
You have your two level deficit on your solo already too. That hurts.
Oh, yeah, it's tough. I mean, three level deficit in the jungle. I mean, this is like kind of just turned it into like an arena game, right? Where oh no, Andy stole that too. This is bullying. We got to report this. I mean,
cyberbullying going on.
Okay, well, Amazon's teleporting on the map there.
Andy's hacking. Whoa.
And he's hacking. I mean, geez, interesting. But I mean, I feel like at this point, like, what can you do? I mean, you have a Fed Camazotz who's 3 levels up on a god that should be dominant in the early game. I mean, what can you do to come back into this? If anything you can do.
Sack solo. That's like the only way. They need to stop putting Prio over there. Just let Horus fend for himself. That lane's gone.
Yeah.
Your mid laner and your ADC are going to be the closest to in terms of like farm, even though there's a 2 level deficit in the mid. So as I've been saying, like I say, you just go hard duo side, because if they're going to keep putting the solo Prio.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they're going to keep prioritizing that solo lane, I mean, it's just going to keep ending how it is. These leads are just too kind of insurmountable, right? I mean, but you look at the mid lane, like you were saying, there's still a 2 level difference in levels there, right? It's kind of starting to show everyone on the map now, right? The only role where there's not a lead is in the support role. But I mean, mid lane too. I feel like Lake is kind of doing what you were saying, right? He's being a little too rotate heavy, right? He wants to help his solo laner, wants to help his jungle, and it's kind of making him suffer too in the mid lane. He only died 1 time, but still a 2 level lead, make it a 3 now, is a massive deficit for any mid laner.
He's been all over the map and has nothing to show for it, so it just hurts him.
Yeah. I mean, it's very tough. They're down. They're down in the kill department, down in the gold department. I mean, it's just a matter of time for the Journeymen look to take a fight around these objectives. I mean, with the amount of ult impacts that the Journeymen have, like. Can you even see the poets maybe just trying to burst down one person? I mean, they don't really have an insane amount of CC to maybe try to burst down anybody right now on the side of the Journeyman.
That's part of the issue too, because most of your CC is single target CC coming out of the Horus and the Ganesha. So like you have his. Oh my.
Leave him alone, man. This is bullying.
This is just mean at this point.
Yeah, that's just tough, man. I mean, like, what is Crow supposed to do, man? He's just trying to take his speed bump one time. As we see, Rick just three forcing this man's HP with 2 abilities. Ult coming up, the ult out of Crow coming down. He ults. Oh, okay, that's Mr. Reverb coming in through the mid lane there. Ulting. I thought he ulted twice. I was like, wait, what is going on? What cheat code? Ult's getting traded out, but nothing of any value really coming through because no CC came through on either side. I mean, ult for ult, I feel like that still benefits a Journeyman. I mean, they can just one-shot people with their normal abilities. They don't even need ultimates.
Yeah, that's just tough. That's a real tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I keep saying it, like what to do, but again, I really just, oh my goodness, Senno forced the beads on just a Ymir freeze while he's on an island. This is like every time we look at somebody and get something, big wall out of the dirty bubble there. He's probably gonna get a double ult when he lands. No beads going his way, but not. Oh, Craig after coming through with the dash. I was about to say maybe just not enough damage / CC to come through for the Ravana could roll out, and now purple buff going away. Here's a little consolation prize too for the kill.
Yeah, this is real hard to fight your way back out of this.
Yeah, it's very difficult, right? Because like you can sit here and say 100 different ways, like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, but I mean, like, they are what, 5K gold down now at 11 minutes, and they are massive amounts of levels behind. They can play this game perfectly. They can have the perfect game ever, and they can still lose every single team fight.
Yeah. And then the 2v2 popping off over here. Oh no.
As we're talking about these team fights that we were saying, Brachiosaurus just deletes him with his ult by himself. It is a 2v4, and they're still competing to almost win this. Finally,
I got one.
Picking up Rig and Wriggle. Brachiosaurus gonna clean up on Lake 4v2, but 2 kills going the way of the Journeyman, and honestly, ain't no way Brock dying in this one.
That, to me, that's worth 2 for 1. Oh, but they lost the Gold Fury. If they didn't lose Gold Fury there, that was worth.
It's a curse, man. Then they take gold on the other side of the map, which is smart, right? I mean, you see the jungle, you see all this pressure getting thrown to solo. Oh my god, what is Brock doing? Hey, Brock, he's low. Kill him, Brock. No, Brock's giving a little bit of mercy there. He's saying, "Nah, I'll let you."
Nice guy. Nice guy.
Next game I might kill you, but not this one. Yeah, what a nice guy by Brock. You know, great dude. I know him personally. I mean, I wouldn't be as nice as him, but I guess he's handing out charities at this point. Dude, like, what? Can I just comment on these lags though? These lags are like,
no, they're nuts.
It's quite interesting, right? Yeah, servers do seem to be a tad bit buggy. So I mean, I'm wondering if they're feeling it in game too, or if it's just on our end. I mean, maybe it's just on our end. And it's this terrible spectator delay that's just kind of causing it to lag. But hopefully, you know, this game is being compromised with terrible servers.
Is Horus going Manicore and Feyblast?
Yes, he is. Are we going to comment on that? I mean, at this point, I guess not. I mean,
he went Golden Blade first too.
Yeah, I mean, what worse could happen here, man? Right at this point, yeah. I mean, already 2 levels down into a character where you're never gonna win the 1v1 exchange anymore. He's got all the sustain, and now they're just 2-manning Pyro, and there's no way that red team can kind of as they did almost actually steal that. Right as I'm saying, I almost jinxed them. But now they're a little overextended. Lake is getting ran through. Rig and Wriggle and Brachiosaurus ults is just enough to do enough damage to kill him. Crow just kind of watching like, sorry guys, I don't do any damage here. Support gonna fall here in a second. A dirty bubble, and now Reverb stun off of the mark. Crow picking up a kill on Brock. That is big. That is a lot of value, though. Is he going to be able to get out Jovi doing his absolute best to peel for him? Oh, my goodness. Reverb ulting into the ADC, bricking it. That's why he should just turn into junglers. ADC does not seem to be his choice, but still, Rig and Wriggle cleaning up Jovi 30. Reverb finally picking up Crow, who decided to walk back to that mid tower. All the meanwhile, Craig asserting his dominance in the duo lane.
Man. This is hard to comment on. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, like I mean, I get it. Like, what really can be said? I mean, it's a 7K gold lead, but it is a hard 7K gold lead.
It's a very
This,
hard 7
yeah, like I
gold
mean,
lead.
3 levels up in the jungle, 4 levels up in mid lane.
I was gonna
2 levels,
say.
yeah. Like the discrepancy is getting massively. I mean, at this point, right? It's no longer what can the poets do to come back, right? It's more along the lines of what other journeyman gonna do to troll to let the poets back.
It's like where are they gonna mess up to where poets get back into this game?
Exactly. That's honestly, realistically, that's the only way. Is if the journeyman kind of overextend a little too much, force a terrible fight, lose it, all of them die, and then now the poets can kind of come back, take some towers, take maybe Fire Giant or like a big Gold Fury, and then kind of slowly dwindle on this lead. But the problem is it doesn't look like the journeymans are gonna troll really. I mean, every single team fight we're seeing, they're just cleaning up multiple opponents on the poets here.
Baba Yaga came into the double stack again. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but that's just like the best build out of Baba Yaga, right? Okay, Craig walking into a wall here. Hey, Beats coming out of Senno, but look at that damage. Even with Beats, still almost gets 2-tapped. The Dirty Bubble coming in. There's no way he's gonna survive this. The second he lands, he's dead. He's just kind of sitting up there chilling. All right, Dirty Bubble, that's a little rude there, man. Ulting. Senno crashing into Craig in the final auto. A big ult coming out of the Ganesh here. Just kind of
this is what they needed.
Big knockup.
This is what they needed.
This is what they needed. This was that troll I was talking about. They're going to kill Dirty Bubble, but they're not going to be able to kill his Cernanos. Are they even going to kill Dirty Bubble? Yes, they finally do. Cernanos staying, though, because look at this. His team's arriving. He may fall here, but, I mean, I see Rigid Wriggle.
Oh, no, he gets that.
Cavalry charge coming in. Big stun. Early beats coming through. Crow falling. Rigid Wriggle picking up Lake. The troll play that we were talking about, there was actually a bait and switch, and now the poets are running, but not running far enough. Joe B30 ulting in. Tower is gone though. Craig Afro is the target. Is he gonna be able to at least trade that out? No, he can't even do that. Death. Oh my goodness.
It was a good attempt from the poets. I mean,
yeah, I mean, we were praising it. We're like, hey, that's the troll we wanted to see. And then you know, they ran on horseback. They're screaming, the red coats are coming. The red coats are coming. And then they came in and they decimated them.
Paul Revere wasn't quick enough.
Paul Revere was not quick enough in this Smite game. He was quick enough in real life, but not in this game. As we see the Baba Yaga house taking the walk of shame back to the mid laner. I mean, like, dude, like, I honestly don't. I mean, if we DC another time on these objectives, I'm gonna get quite annoyed. But I mean, 4-level lead still, a 5-level lead in the jungle. I mean, I'm just kind of repeating myself at this point because it's just a matter of time. I feel like, right? The journeymen are kind of putting their print on this game, right? They doesn't look like, even when they trolled the little bit they did in the duo lane, they still ended up winning that team fight. So I mean, what, like, the poets, are they just gonna chalk this up, or do you think like they're just gonna play like, hey, we're gonna wait for these trolls, or do you kind of just think the poets are just kind of accepting defeat and they're just here just to kind of play this one out?
In my long experience with Smite, there's always the potential to come back into a game.
Speaking of the trolls, there it is. Reverb trolling in middle lane and falling. Could have ulted out as Camazotz, though. Reverb getting a little greedy there, trying to pick up the kill on the lake. There's one troll. That's all. We only need about 99 more of those, but the trolls are coming. Wriggle now jumping in for the troll.
See?
There it is. He's gonna be forced to ult out. A lot of damage coming through, but have to. Oh, and he's glitching through the map.
Is he gonna shoot back? Oh, there he is. Found him.
I swear the players are experiencing this too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the players have to be experiencing this lag. I wish this cast would have been a lot better of a game in terms of the quality of the servers. Both teams, though, trying to fight through it. I don't really know what they could do much else to kind of combat against these servers. But, I mean, there's a troll that we like to see, right? That's going to be big gold going away of Lake. I mean, 4 levels down, that's probably at least 600-700 gold.
Definitely. And then one thing to kind of touch on. Oh, he stole it. He got it.
Another troll. There it is, man. Journeymen are like, oh, yo, group for the pyromancer. No, let's just do it with 2 people. You know.
Yeah.
And there's another troll. Hey, this is the comeback I want to see. I swear, if the poets come back, I'm not gonna let Craig Reverb and Rig and Wriggle let this one down. All right.
Oh yeah, they they never hear the end of this one if they end up losing.
One thing I will say though that's quite interesting with Seno's build here, right? Seno not opting for pen, right? He's got that 10% pen. Mr. Reverb coming in, picking up big damage on them. Craig coming in with the 2 and 2 autos. Says, good night, Seno. See you in about 30 seconds when you respawn. But yeah, the cavalry charge went off to the side. The Rigo picking up Lake, who for whatever reason was at their back camps. But, I mean, look at this build from this Rama. I mean, he's down pretty bad, and he's got literally next to no pen. He's got 10% pen at 20 minutes. Like, that just has to feel rough.
Yeah, and then he's opting for the crit here, which is what he kind of needs to do. He needs to be able to kill all the squishies.
All right, Rigo, get out of there, buddy. Though deciding to ult in, multiple ults getting used. They might actually be able to pick him up here, though. Who knows? The sustain coming through. Oh, give that man a raise. Give that man a raise. That was an amazing Ganesh ult. But look at this.
No.
Look at this. The mid laner support and ADC at 20 minutes are taking a left Phoenix while the team just tries to kill a Camazotz by themselves on the right side. Yo, every time I try to praise. Oh, look at this spin. Look at this spin axe. Look at this. This dude is destroying the wall.
I was going to say, he messing that wall up.
So every time I swear, every time we praise the poets or something, they're like, "Oh yes, got this kill, got this amazing Ganesh ult." Then we switch to promptly to the other side of the map, death or big. Oh, as we see a massive ult there coming through from Craig. Seno up in the air, but he's not doing. He's literally tickling Craig at this point. The one through Lake, even that's tickling him. I mean, is the ADC a support ult coming through? Dash coming away though. Lake gonna probably pick up Dirty Bubble here, falling wayside just to peel for his ADC. As most supports take all the deaths just to keep their dirty ADCs alive. Rockazoid though, teleporting in, dashing in, but nothing coming. I mean, at this point, I mean, I think the Journeymen are kind of trolling now, right? Like, just group up and take the fire,
definitely.
Right? Like you're wasting my time, you're destroying my throat. I'm ready to end this cast. But instead they want to, kind of grind this game out, invade speed buff still at the 21-minute mark, right? Just group up 5 man, go take this fire giant and look to push for an end. I mean, but again, like I'm saying, the poets are they're kind of being like, hey, if you guys want to do this for another 15 minutes, I'm not gonna complain.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things of like, after game 1, they're probably feeling pretty confident. Then the early game they had, they're feeling real confident. So that's why they're doing these like 1v4 dives, 2v4 dives, seeing what they could pull out. And the poets are like, we are gonna bring this game back if you keep doing this.
Reverb trolling quite heavily, turns into the ADC for whatever reason. Could have turned into Camazotz and lived, but no. Turns into the ADC, does a little bit of damage. Crow picking up the kill under there. Craig Afro first to beads and dash away. But even while down the mid laner and a lot of damage coming from him, Rig and Wriggle says, oh, see you later, buddy. Now I'm going to blink in. See you later, Lake. And now he's going to dash on a Joe V30. He goes, you're the soul laner? Don't care. Going to kill you too. I mean, every single time the poets get a pick, Rig and Wriggle comes over and says deletion, goodbye.
Yeah, Camazotz, especially if he has this big a lead, is just so hard to deal with. He kills you in 2 abilities. Even as a tank, you're just like, oh, okay. I don't want to play the game.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh my, he did it again. He did it again.
Yo, if there's one thing we can compliment Pathos here. Though, I mean, they're probably going to more than likely destroy, Joe V30's HP pool here in about 3 seconds, kill him, and then now they're going to probably more than likely set their sights onto this Phoenix. But instead, first they're going to kill Seno. A little mean. Should have let him live. Take the tower in the Phoenix. Now Trebuchet in the right lane. Gonna push down that tower, gonna easily be able to take this Phoenix in a 2v5. There's no way they're gonna be able to defend. With the sustain also of this Guan Yu, this Phoenix should be pretty free. Honestly, they could even look maybe to end.
Yeah, they definitely have the opportunity to end here. Pathos doing a great job keeping his team in the game. Oh,
Blake,
as she
Blake,
gets those on.
Blake ulting on the backside, but it's not enough. That shield, very big. Wriggle though, taking a bunch of poke, almost dies. Ravana ulting and missing and blinking. Please kill him. Thank you. I'll take that trade all day. You do die also, but it's okay. That's a decent trade in my book. Phoenix does fall. The reverb finally coming from the base. More lag into the wall. Amazing gameplay. They snap back too, doing amazing damage onto the support. Support dashing in. Sprint rooting comes out from Bubble there. Lake, watch out, Lake. Uh-oh, blink. Stun, death. Reverb picks up the kill on the Lake. I mean, 3v4 end the game, right? Or my bad, 4v2 end the game here, right? More lag coming through. Please stop this. I not
think so.
End this game? No, I guess not. I mean, we have Craig over there by the blue buff, just kind of sustaining the heal up. Joe B30 saying, I'm tired of watching you guys survive. I'm going to take matters into my own hands.
Yeah.
Trying to keep this tower on the left side alive. Fire waves pushing through. Is able to clear them and keep it alive with about 200 to 300 HP.
They're doing a great job at these defenses. Definitely getting picks. Slowly crawling back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, crawling is a good way. Oh, surrender vote coming through here.
Oh no.
Is this the beginning of the end? We were just talking about the crawl back through, but is this the end of it? I mean, the lag is coming through, so I won't fault them maybe a little too much because this lag is pretty horrendous coming coming through this game. But I mean, I would like to see him try and battle it out, right? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They have a better chance of kind of closing their eyes and throwing a dart at a board and hitting the bullseye than winning this one. I mean, this lead is getting insurmountable. Look, just look. This mid laner doesn't even have his fourth item online. Meanwhile, Reverb has almost every single item online and a starter item finished. Reverb alone could probably one-shot anybody on their team right now.
Yes, but it's also one of those things. If I'm on Poet's side, I'm sitting there thinking the game's lagging. That could throw them off, and we just get a straight D aside if they just all lag in a time room or something.
Yeah, right. Maybe see Wriggle go up in the air. He glitches, falls underneath the map, and dies. And you're like, oh yes, let's go.
This, bro.
Maybe the Smite gods will come in and help you a little bit, right? Because at this point, that's what you need. You need some higher being Smite god that hasn't been released in the game yet that can just delete people off of the map to kind of come in and help here. But I mean, hey, I give them some credit though. They're still fighting. I mean, they're not just kind of giving up. That's what we like to see, right? I mean, the game not as competitive as we would like it to have been, but at least they're still showing some spirit.
And you can see it as good practice on how to play from behind.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if there's one thing the Journeymen are not doing in this game is learning how to play from behind. Poet's still getting a lot of experience like that. So hey, next time when they're ahead, they're gonna be like, hey, we know what it's like to be behind. We don't like that. We see this blink in from Wriggle. Big damage coming in onto this Baba Yaga. Force that beats and Aegis, even ult on the backside, but still falls a Brachiozoid. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Jovi 30 getting melted. Force that beats. Big ult in by Crow. Gonna maybe pick up this ADC. No, good body blocks coming out of the mid laner support. I swear, if they killed that ADC there, maybe they have a chance to defend, but I mean, at this point, it's looking like it's game over. A 5v3, though. Craig very low. Maybe they can get a crucial pick here as they attempt to siege this Titan. Reverb sitting like a dirty little snake around the corner. He's looking for Seno. Seno, though, not going to go on his side of the map. Craig pushing up this mid lane for some sustain. Going in on the dirty bubble for whatever reason. Help Seno on the back line, please. Man's on an island. All coming out of Reverb this time in the fountain. Not enough damage coming through. Dirty bubble dies to the Phoenix, and the Phoenix falls. All three Phoenixes down. It's just a matter of time, I think, before this game ends.
The Guan Yu and the Morgan just 2v3ing. Casually in the back.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Dirty Bubble somehow with a lead like this dies to the Phoenix is just a telltale in itself. I mean, dude even has Emp's armor.
Yeah,
so,
I was gonna say.
How many shots do you think he took with that Emp's armor? At least 15, right?
I was gonna say he probably took 3K from Phoenix. Phoenix.
Dude sat in the Phoenix for 2 minutes just to die to it still somehow.
Yo, it happens. With that ramping damage, sometimes your math's just a little off. You're like, oh, I can take one more. The next thing you know, it chunks you for a quarter HP bar, and you're like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess the ramping does really add up. Finally, Lake gets his next item online. But again, I mean, he's only got 10% pen. At 28 minutes into the game, he has 10% pen. So I would like to know who's gonna kill this Guan Yu. Because at this point, I think it's no one.
Yeah, I don't think. No, and plus he has the Heroes X. That man's super tanky.
Yeah, I mean, Heroes X, he's even got... So the only person that does got penned this ADC, well, he's got an
He
Emi
has a
line.
hide,
So,
yeah.
yeah, he's got an Emi line. So, have fun, using 3 autos just to, do like 80 in auto to him.
And not to mention the Spirit Road.
They are playing it very safe, though, the Journeymen. They are aiming to take this Fire Giant. We do see Horus ulting in a little bit too late, trying to pick up kills onto this ADC, though he is peeling pretty nicely for himself. Big heals coming through, but Craig picks up the kill there. Ganesh dashing in. He's going to fall very soon. Pathos having a great game on a couple steals and some big kills, but he's going to fall wayside here to Reverb. And now Rigid Wriggle running down Jovi 30 by himself here in the soul lane. Ult coming through. Jovi 30 doesn't have anybody to dash to. Seno coming in as a way of escape for Jovi 30. 2 finishes down, 3 dead, all 5 up. Fire Giant. This is probably the game.
I think so. I think they just siege this Phoenix down and walk it on in with minions.
I don't even think they need to siege this Phoenix. Just walk through the damn thing. What's stopping you?
Oh, nothing, but it just makes the Titan that much easier to kill.
Yeah, look, as you see Reverb just turn into the ADC again for whatever reason. And then now they're just fountain camping, and we should report them for fountain camping, very troll. But picking up the kill there and ending the game, Journeymen have a convincing 2-0 victory over the Poets. I mean, what do you say to that, man?
Journeyman definitely bringing out the big showing for their first game. Camazot's and Pele player, he did a really, really good job both games of just snowballing, like getting that early lead and just running with it. Poets had some good signs of life, but I just think that they're still trying to put it together. I think they definitely have the potential to. Like, they'll be a different team come like week 3.
Yeah. I mean, look. That like Rig and Wriggle, Brock, Craig, and Reverb, they've been playing together for probably 3, 4, 5 different seasons in terms of leagues now. They've been playing together from the get-go. The first season that Craig was in this league, he literally played with Reverb on his team, right? So these guys have a lot of experience together, right? On the other side, almost none of those people have played together. Maybe Jovi 30, Seno, and Lake have played a little bit together in Valhalla, but other than that, this is a pretty brand new team. So I mean, it's only week 1. Get some scrims, get that chemistry building a little bit. I mean, you saw some decent signs of life in these games, right? They have potential to win some fights. It's just it's just the early game. They need to make sure that their early game doesn't end in a disaster that it was in both games. I mean, if they get out of that, who knows? Maybe they can win some easy, big team fights in the late game.
And then, like you said, they just need to play a bit more proactively instead of reactively. They were reacting to what the Journeymen were doing instead of playing their own game. They kind of fell into that solo side blue trap a lot.
Yeah, they were on the back foot quite a lot. I always ask this question at the end of the sets. Probably the hardest question. Who are you giving the MVP to of this set?
Oh, it's got to be Riggin. He just popped off both games. Like, just straight snowballed both games.
Yep, Mr. Rigid Wriggle coming in clutch there. I heard if you say that 3 times in a mirror with the lights off, he appears. So, that's his rumors, though. I'm not too sure. Rigid Wriggle picking up MVP of the set. Big performance out of him on both the Pele and the Camazots. I'm Hunter. With me is Wolfman Sam. Tune in tomorrow for another 2 amazing Smite QSL sets coming through to you. Recast from games that were played earlier today.